by the right of the council, by the will of the force. Welcome into a top 10 edition of Jedi Talk, a Star Wars podcast. Galaxy famous Jedi Talk, a Star Wars podcast, I should say. 2/3 of the council is here. I am Tom Oaker. Thank you so much for joining today on this fine top 10 edition, and joined with me most of the time, because sometimes, we're three adults here and we have lives, but we still like to keep the show on a schedule. Directly across from me is Evan T. Boucher. Evan, how the hell are you, Mr. Seventh Knight of Ren?
Hello there. I am great. I'm great. It's been a decent week. Not too crazy in terms of work for me, anyway.
Okay.
Possible good news in the future, so always good.
Always possible good news is always good news.
Yeah.
Where possible negative news is not good.
No.
But
we talked about that last week, or last episode.
Last episode, yeah. 2 days ago. We've been sitting in the same spot. So Brad's not here tonight. He's in North Carolina doing some stuff, hanging with some fam. So that means we do an alternate top 10. And Brad's into, I know he's a big Alabama guy, football, but I think Evan and I are more into sports from a show core concept.
Yeah.
Like Brad and I did the music last alternate top 10, and now Evan and I are going to do our personal favorite top 10 sports moments.
Right. Like I can tell you guys, like I like this song and this band or whatever, but I can't get anywhere near as detailed as you guys, and I can't tell you like why this singer's better. I can't even name more than probably 5 singers, but you guys can do like this guitarist, this drummer, this singer. Like I can't do that. So that's your thing, and sports is like the thing that we know. So that's our thing.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. I love it. So that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be top professional sports moments, because
I got some stuff mixed in from personal.
Yeah, all but one of mine are personal.
Because spoiler alert, I'm not a professional athlete. If you didn't know, wow.
No.
Right. But spoiler alert, I was a Division I athlete, so
hell yeah. That's cool.
That's close.
The only one I can say on this podcast.
Only for 2 years though, like not.
I'm like Al Bundy. I played high school football.
There you go.
That's all I got. That's all my claim to fame.
Yeah.
So it's top professional sporting moments, personal sports moments, like Evan had mentioned, just whatever involving sports. We're just going to have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
Just different top 10s. So tell us what your favorite sporting moments are at Jedi Talk Podcast on Instagram, at Seventh Knight of Ren for Mr. Evan T. Boucher, at GingerSith66 for me. Tom Oaker, thank you very much. And at Scourge Returns.
They should just send them all to Brad.
Okay, at Brad from Jedi Talk.
Don't send your sports moment to us.
No.
Send them to Brad.
Tell Brad
to see
why you like sports, and just be like, sports.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got 10. I don't have any honorable mentions.
2 honorable mentions,
yeah, go for
surprisingly.
it.
So
you got it.
None of the coaching moments are on this list, but a lot of this is basketball related, because I also was one time a basketball coach. So
hey,
my 2 honorable mentions are both basketball related. I got to see the great Steve Nash play live and in person once, thankfully, in Indianapolis. I don't know why I said it so weird. In Indianapolis versus the Pacers. I don't remember who won, because that wasn't important, and I wasn't a fan of either of those teams. So I didn't care who won. But Steve Nash actually had 10 assists that game, so that was dope. I know he had at least 10 points, so he had a double-double. And Nash was my brother's favorite character, so we went for him to see Nash. But I was like, this is cool. I got to see Steve Nash do a double-double and have 10 assists.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Pretty dope.
That is pretty dope.
And my other one was my college team that I wasn't a coach or player for. I was a student manager for.
Is this the same college team that did New World back from our infamous 50th anniversary?
Yep. I got lots of good stories about that old team. But one of them here on my honorable mention was the one and only time we ever made the NIT. Sadly, not the big dance, but right below
the NIT
dance.
tournament?
Yeah,
hell yeah.
We made the NIT once.
I think that's cool, because there are still teams that don't make the NIT tournament.
Yeah,
so they're the ones that truly suck.
Yep. We've done that. We've been those teams too, but we made the NIT once, and
that's awesome.
We got lucky enough to go to San Diego, of all places.
Where were you seated?
To play San Diego State. Oh, we were seated like 15th or something.
Oh, really? So you weren't 16th?
No, but we played, I think, the 2 seed and San Diego State in their house. That campus is gorgeous.
Oh my God, that's where my
gorgeous.
father-in-law went and played basketball at.
No, I didn't.
He played college basketball at San Diego State. Yeah.
Like,
is it?
Yeah. If I could go back and change things, I would try to go there, man. That place. Realistically, I'd probably pick UCF, but that place is also dope.
Would you pick UCF?
Probably, yeah. Because
really?
I wanted to live here anyway, so that would have been like that stepping stone.
Was UCF even on your list?
No.
No? Okay.
No, because I wanted to go where I could get a scholarship for athletics.
That's
And
fair.
the school I went to was the only D1 that offered me. So I went to that D1 because it's
Okay.
like, how do you not go D1?
Okay.
But anyhow, we ended up going to San Diego State. Gorgeous campus, gorgeous place.
I love San Diego.
Played in the first game ever of the NIT for my school, and we got murdered. So that last part wasn't cool, but the rest of it was cool. They beat us by like 25 points. That was bad, man.
25.
But,
It's college sports.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, man.
right. But
It's gonna
there's a game later on this list where my team won by 20 points. So we'll
Hey.
get there.
All right. I like it. Why don't you just go roll right into your number 10 there, sir?
My number 10 is, I don't know if you knew this about me, but I used to be a fan of a team that you probably hate. I used to be a Packers fan. I don't know if you knew that, but it was because of my dad.
Somebody call 911, please.
I'm not anymore, thankfully. Screw them. But
Thank you.
my dad was a Packers fan, too, and that's why I was. And I was 4 years old. We were in the living room of our house back in Connorsville, Indiana, and we're watching the 1997 Super Bowl. And who was in that Super Bowl and who's winning that Super Bowl but the Green Bay Packers?
Fucking motherfucker.
My dad turns to me and my mom, and he goes, I've been waiting 40 years for the Packers to win the Super Bowl. And me, the little 4-year-old me, goes, Mom, I've been waiting 40 years for the Packers to win the Super Bowl. Of course, I was 4 years old,
Yeah.
so it doesn't make sense, but that was great, that moment. My dad tells that story all the time, and I remember it, too, not just because he's telling it. I remember that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, Favre is my favorite. He's not the best, man. Like, Brady's the best, but
Yeah, Brady's a
Favre
goat.
is my favorite football player and quarterback of all time. And I haven't watched football since he retired because I just don't care.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's
I
gotten
just don't
better.
care. Has it?
It still remained pretty good. I mean, for me, I like it, but
Nice.
that's a good memory. That was 97. The Packers defeated the New England Patriots, if I remember correctly, right?
In Louisiana.
Ah, very good.
Megadome, right? Is that what it's called?
Oh,
Superdome.
Superdome in New Orleans, yeah.
Yeah.
Silverdome is Detroit, Superdome, New Orleans. So
Yep.
I think it's called something else now, but that's good.
Yeah.
That's a great first memory.
In Detroit, it's called Ford Field now.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because that's on my list, too. A moment in Ford Field, of all places.
Ooh, there we go. I can't wait to see. But my number 10 is the only real personal moment that I have of like my own sporting. And this was way back in the day when avid listener of both Jedi Talk and Fourth Mother Box, Mike Norot, and I were on a kickball team in day camp
Whoa.
called the Gators.
Okay.
And we kicked some ass
Nice.
and won the championship. And I remember for the longest time as a kid growing up, and I had forgotten about this until we actually started thinking about this, that it was just like, mine and Mike's claim to fame. Like, yeah, we're the Gators. We kicked some ass and won the championship in
Yeah.
kickball of all things. We just beat the shit out of all these other piece of crap day campers. Don't be crossing my line. So
That's
it's
pretty
just,
awesome.
It's just fun.
Bragging
I had to
rights.
what?
Bragging rights, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we got trophies and stuff too. And
You better have.
and
We're champion,
yeah, like
damn it.
everybody like bowed down to us for like a week or something.
Did you get a parade?
No, but we should
Oh,
have.
let's make you one.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go back to that day camp and ask for a parade, some 20-something years later.
They do that with professional sports teams, like the
Go to
reunion.
the White House and
well, they
shit?
do the
Oh,
parade
that,
and
yeah.
then the White House, and they also do like 20-year reunions for like this specific championship team. So
They do.
There you go. Let's reunite the Gators.
We can do that. Reunite the Gators. That's right.
That's a Disney Plus series right there.
That's right.
Reunite the Gators.
I'm pitching it to Disney Plus.
Right?
Mike,
We know you listen.
yeah,
Disney Plus. We
and
know.
we do. And Mike help me out with some of the details of that. But yeah, the Gators won.
Who would play you?
Henry Cavill,
Mustache or no mustache?
full beard.
Okay. My number 9. We good? Okay. My number 9 was another. Well, yeah. So this one is a game I went to.
Nice.
It was in San Antonio way back in 2010 because I used to be a San Antonio Spurs fan.
Well, back in that time, Duncan,
They were the
David
goats
Robinson.
back then.
Christ.
Robinson was gone by then.
He was gone
This is-
already?
This
Holy
is 2010.
shit.
2010.
Oh man.
He retired in 03.
Okay. Okay.
He went out on top though. His
Okay.
championship
He
year
did,
was his
he
last
did,
year.
He
so.
did. But go on, yeah. But again, Spurs legendary.
Yeah,
These teams
2010, we
legendary.
made a family vacation down to San Antonio. Beautiful city, by the
Is
way.
it?
Like, even if you don't care about the Spurs, which I get it because they're garbage now, but
Yeah.
that city is crazy beautiful. You got the Alamo there, got all the history, you got the Riverwalk. Like, that place is perfect for, like, a safe, non-high school, college kid party atmosphere.
Okay.
Like, it's a party atmosphere, but it's not, like, the sketchy kind.
Okay.
So, highly recommend going, but
It's not ASU.
no. So we went because it was my favorite team, the San Antonio Spurs, in a beautiful city, San Antonio. So my mom and dad were like, we don't care about the Spurs, but we'll take a cool vacation. And they just so happened to be playing my brother's favorite team, the Suns. Sadly, Nash didn't play this game, though. We both were upset. Because I'm like, I want to see this rivalry. It was a rivalry back then. Like Suns, Spurs, like Nash, Duncan. Like that was a thing.
Yeah.
But sadly, Nash didn't play. But the Spurs and the Suns played.
And the Suns are good again now, and the Spurs suck. So
yep.
Yeah.
See, tables have turned. There you go. But the Spurs won those rivalry games 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, in our house, we ended up beating the Suns. But it was awesome. We win. We had like a little sign made up and everything. We both had our jerseys on.
Hell yeah.
I was wearing my Tim Duncan jersey.
Yeah,
Austin had his Nash on. Like, that was a dope time.
That's
Big
cool.
game. And so that's one of 2 times I've seen the Suns play, and one of 2 times I've seen the Spurs play. So thankfully, I got to see the best big 3 of all time play twice. So.
Oh, you're wrong on the
best big
three.
3
are.
Who's the other one?
Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman.
Rodman don't count as
yes.
they had a big 2.
Dennis
Dennis
Rodman's one of the greatest defensive players in the NBA.
True, but how long was he with them? Does he count
3
as their
years.
big 3? That don't count.
2 or 3 years.
That doesn't count. Big 3 has to be like they won 4 championships together.
They won 3 together.
Yeah, see, so not as good.
No, I still disagree with that.
Oof.
Who are you saying the best big 3 are? Duncan,
Parker, Manu.
I don't know about that.
They got
Compared
4.
to Jordan and Scottie Pippen alone.
That's the best big 2 of all time.
No, I'm talking 2-on-3. They would take him down.
Well, yeah, because they're the best, some of the best players of all time. Like Tim's top 5, Michael's top 5, but like Manu and Tony are only like top 20, top 30. So yeah, of course those 2 are better than those 3. But Rodman, he doesn't even count.
Yes, he does.
Only 3 years. That don't count.
You're a Spurs fan. Do you not remember? Right, he was on the Spurs.
He played for us for a while.
Yeah, he played for San Antonio for a
he's
bit.
a great player, but
And
he's only there
Detroit.
2 or 3 years.
I know. Yeah, I mean,
that'd be like saying he was
he got himself out of there, but
right. But that'd be like if he won with the Pistons and he's like, oh, he's a great Pistons big 3. It's like he's there.
He was technically him, Isaiah Thomas, and I'm sure there's another one in there.
It's like saying Michael was a great wizard, whatever. It's like he was there 1 year. Or something. Like, come on. Yeah.
Michael Jordan's career ended after the shot in Utah.
True. We'll get to that moment later,
We
I
will.
think. But
I
enough
think
of
we
that.
might.
Let's move
Yes.
on to your
My number 9. My number 9. My first Chicago Bulls game. The Chicago Bulls were my and still are my favorite NBA team, basketball team of all time, and they were my first love as far as like sports team goes as a kid, because I couldn't have been born at a better time to experience the 1990 Chicago Bulls dynasty. Now, I was younger, like 4 or 5 years. I was 4 when it started. I was -2 when Michael Jordan was drafted in '84 on the Bulls. So when I was born in April of 1986, didn't know who Michael Jordan was yet.
But you got to see him at his peak.
Yes, I did.
Yep.
I did. So 90, 91, when I probably started to watch sports, I remember as a young kid when they won like their first and their second, and people were going crazy around the city in the third. Then I got heavy into them, when Jordan came back and that second three-peat, that team, Pippen, we were just talking about it, Pippen, Jordan, Rodman, fucking Luke Longley, Ron Harper, Steve Kerr, Judd Bushler, who was Ron Artest was on some of those teams too. Who the fuck was? No, Ron Artest might not have been on that team specifically, but he was on the Bulls not that far after that. Who the hell was Scott Burrell? Scott Burrell, the guy that Michael Jordan pushed around. Scott Burrell.
Right.
By the way, if you guys have not watched
where
The
was,
Last Dance,
John Paxson? Which era was he?
Paxson was the first
early on?
three-peat,
Okay.
yeah, and then he stepped away and he eventually became front office.
Right.
But Paxson was early on. Like Bill Wennington was the second one, but like the first one, Bill Cartwright.
Yeah.
Paxson, just like you mentioned.
And then Horace
Pippen
Grant
again.
at the end too, right?
Horace Grant was with them in the beginning.
Okay.
The first three-peat. God, so many memorable players. Nothing to me beats. I don't know how you think, because you are a fan of that Spurs team, but man, the 90s basketball is fucking.
I've honestly never heard of a Chicago team being called a Big Three. So, I didn't know that was even considered. So, that's why I said that. I've never heard that. People always say, McHale and Bird and Parrish, great Big Three. And then they say the Spurs Big Three. But I've never.
Well, all right.
And
then,
the Miami
maybe
Heat Big Three, of course, which was not good. But
I have such a foul taste in my
They're
mouth
terrible.
from Bosh, LeBron, and
Bosh
Dwayne
isn't even
Wade.
a good player anyway.
No, he's
so
not.
He doesn't count.
That's why it's like,
Yeah.
if you're going to consider Chris Bosh part of a Big Three, I want to consider Dennis Rodman
He is
part of a Big
way
Three.
before Chris Bosh.
Exactly.
But I've never heard fans say the
That's
Bulls
fair.
Big Three.
That's fair. I don't know what the official term is. They're a Big
True.
Three to me. So
True. Well,
whatever.
that's the official term.
Yeah.
If you count it, you count it.
So I went. So I got to thank my Nana, and she actually lives in Florida now. And she took me to my grandma. Nana's Italian. I mean, I'm sure people have heard that. I don't have to explain it.
Uncle Jimmy.
Yeah. Uncle Jimmy. She's the one that didn't beat me. She saved me and dragged me to my first Bulls game. I was so nervous. I was such a Bulls mark. Like, this was like my Star Wars and Metallica before Star Wars and Metallica. You know, I'm such a mark for that shit. So I was nervous. Like, I didn't know what to expect. I had my Michael Jordan jersey on. I had my Bulls hat. I had cheesing from ear to ear. I remember meeting Benny the Bull. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. I got his autograph. I brought it into school the next day to show off. And then I took a picture with all those cardboard cutouts of the players. And I remember passing it off to people at school, making them think that I actually met the whole team.
That's awesome.
And
as
course,
a kid, I would fall for that. Like, whoa, my friend Tom met this.
Yeah, I was like 9 or 10. So, like, of course, I'm like, these were the signs of how psychotic I was back as a child if I was able to pull this kind of lie off. But, like just showing them the picture and stuff. And, like, even my teacher, I think, was dumb enough to believe it. So,
sounds about right.
I remember it was 4th grade because I remember the teacher specifically, Mrs. Schisler, at Stony Creek Elementary. So, surprised my memory's that good with how much of this pen I've hit tonight. So, Evan, what's your number 8?
Man, see, that's the thing with your list is like you were lucky enough to have not only an existing sports team in your city, but a great one.
Yeah.
Like for me, like we don't even have baseball. Like I don't care about baseball anyway, but we never had baseball.
It's true, not in Indiana, yeah.
Yeah, we had the Colts, which were garbage back then, and then the Pacers
Until
were
you got
good,
the Peyton Manning.
but not great back then. So like they were good, but as a kid, I was never like, oh, I got to watch this team because they're so good.
What year were you born?
Good, 93.
Oh, y'all had Reggie Miller though.
Right, but they were just good. They were never great.
Yeah, because you know who was stopping them.
Exactly.
That's Jordan, isn't it?
Yeah. So I
He's
never
like, no,
had,
Reggie, not this time.
and all I had as a kid was the Packers because we were great back then. We were winning all the time. But how do we? Yeah, my number 8. So the final Spurs championship that I watched, one of the last Spurs seasons I watched, 2014 Spurs championship run.
Oh,
as much as
that's
I
a good one.
Cannot stand Kawhi Leonard now for being a horrible human being, but at the moment I loved him. He was awesome, and that's my favorite Spurs team of all time.
Refresh my memory.
Aside from him,
what did Kawhi do now?
He got injured, which is not his fault.
Sure,
I'm not mad at him for that. But he got injured, and then after going through rehab, it took like a year because it was a big injury. The whole team cleared him. The doctors cleared him. Coaches, everyone cleared him, said, you're good to come back. And he said, I'm not good. I'm not coming back. And he just sat out and didn't play. And then he forced to be traded because he was like, I don't even want to be here anymore. I'm going to go.
Oh, yeah.
He pulled a LeBron, basically. It's like, we thought you were better than that. We thought you were the next Tim Duncan. But you were not. You were the next LeBron. So good job. And now you're in L.A. not winning ever. So good job. You could have won 2 or 3 more with the Spurs, but you didn't.
Okay.
But
so
that
run.
2014 championship, because we should have won in 2013. That was when Ray Allen magic happened and the Heat rode him to victory, and he saved him in a Game 7 overtime.
Oh, God, I remembered that.
We should have won in 2013. That was so dumb. So 2014 was even better because it's like, you know what, guys? We're going to beat you. We're going to beat you in 5 games. Every game we win is going to be 15 points or more. We're going to defeat you by the largest margin in finals history still. And we're going to blow up your quote-unquote big 3, which was not because you only had like 1.5 good players.
1.5, 3.
Yeah. So, and then we blew it up after that. LeBron left. He was like, I can't win in here anymore.
Yeah.
I got to go to another all-star team because I can't win. So, yeah.
They sucked this year.
Yeah, but I just love, that was great. I didn't watch any basketball this year, but I love watching just low lights of the Lakers.
Yeah.
Just seeing LeBron and Russell Westbrook suck. But that 2014 championship team is my favorite Spurs roster of all time.
Wow.
Taking out Kawhi. Even like that version of Kawhi was awesome. But knowing if what we know about him now, cannot stand it.
That's fair. So in 2007, it was my number 8. You were done, right?
Yep.
My number 8 has to do with my favorite Major League Baseball team, the Chicago Cubs. So in 2007, the Cubs became relevant again. If you're a Chicago Cubs fan, you understand that we were the laughing stock of the Major League Baseball for a very long time, and rightfully so. It had been over 100 years until we had a World Series, and more on that to come later in my list. But it just especially in the city of Chicago, there are a lot of egos of Chicagoans. There's a lot that people make out about North Side versus South Side. you got your South Side stereotypes, you got your North Side stereotypes, and some of that is pretty real coming from a natural born Chicagoan here. It's just animosity that doesn't need to be there. There's a rivalry amongst the two teams, the Chicago White Sox and the Chicago Cubs. I don't know where the hell I was going with this, but anyway, Chicago Cubs. So being a really big fan of that team, they were relevant again because we were continuously being made fun of. Lou Piniella, this was his first year. Infamous Yankee. He was part of the Bronx's burning Yankees back in the 70s, I believe, Billy Martin's Yankees. And, everyone was pumped to see Piniella. We had a great roster. Alfonso Soriano, Aramis Ramirez, Derek Lee, Carlos Zambrano pitching staff. Mark Pryor might have been pitching still around that time. But still, a good roster, and we should have done well. And we finally started to get better. The 2007 Cubs did, and they started to turn it around. They were playing the Milwaukee Brewers one weekend. In the first game, we're down 6-5, bottom of the ninth. The wind is howling at Wrigley Field. When the wind is blowing in the outfield, unless you run up to the bleachers and throw the ball, you're not going to get a home run. But Aramis Ramirez found something on a two-seam fastball on the inside and just hit the shit out of the ball, out of the park. Derek Lee was somebody was on base, and 2-run home run, walk-off won the game, and we got even closer to the Brewers who were in first place. The Cubs would eventually overtake them and win the division, but that moment for me, I will never forget. Like, my little sister was 2 years old, and I was 21. I turned 21 that year. Yep, 21. I turned 21 that year. So I was 21, just sitting in my dad and stepmom's basement, just watching that. And I got up and I just yelled, just walk-off home run out of the atmosphere to be a Cubs fan around that time, just being relevant, having a team to be proud of. Like, I'll just never forget that moment specifically. It was in the middle of the summer, but such an awesome home run.
Just a little bit of hope, too. To be like,
yes, exactly.
What? Our time's coming. Maybe not now, but
exactly.
It's coming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like a little of the taste of a good baseball team.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to lose it.
No, you wanted to hold on to it.
Because I was just 2 years removed from watching the team on the other side of town win one in 2005.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
That sucked. For Cubs fans, I'm telling you, that was not easy.
That one moment that solidified the curse? What was that? Like, was that a fan reaching over and getting a ball or something?
Oh, Bartman, 2003.
Yeah. That was like solidifying the curse.
Yeah.
That's not on this list. I didn't want to bring up PTSD, but I was trying to relate when this happened.
I can remember where I was when Bartman happened. And,
wow.
I'm not mad at Steve Bartman because
as a fan in the moment, I think I would have done something
it's
like
not even that. Alex Gonzalez booted a double play ball on like a couple of pitches later.
So I didn't know that.
So
people don't even think about or know
exactly, because the media took and ran with the Bartman thing.
Yep.
But the Cubs, that you could say that was the start of the curse. And, and the Cubs still had Game 7 to go. And if I remember correctly, that was the game like Kerry Wood pitched a really good game. He might have hit a home run.
Yeah. See, as much as I said that my last thing with the whole Ray Allen thing with the Spurs in 2013, that was Game 6. So we still had Game 7 to go. But like that moment, I still watched Game 7 because I was a fan.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I remember going to bed so pissed off that night, but also going, we're not winning. Like, Game 7 is theirs. Like, you just know.
Oh, the motivation changes.
Yeah.
Or not motivation, the
energy.
The energy
they
changes.
Had home court, plus that just happened in Game 6. So it's that same idea where it's like, you know what's going to happen.
Yep.
But also, like you said, that fan got blamed wrongly for ruining that Cubs game and series.
Yep.
But they still had Game 7. Same with the Spurs. They choked and Ray Allen hit a crazy 3.
Yeah.
But they were still Game 7. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People always pick the wrong thing and blame everything on one little moment.
1,000% right.
Yeah. When there's billions of things that happen.
Yeah. What? Yeah. All right. We're number 7, right?
That's something that you should realize when you're a fan of anything. But like when you're a sports fan, you should realize it. But like when I became a coach, that's when I really was like, oh yeah, like everything matters. Like this one play in the first quarter is what lost us the game, not this play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly true.
So my number 7 is another Brett Favre moment. But this is his first game back versus the Packers.
Oh, yeah.
Loved this game. The second game he played too is not on this list, but just because this moment was even better because it was the first time.
Yeah.
But he came out and kicked their asses.
He did.
Both games he played them and showed them that, hey, man, I am obviously still good enough. I'm beating you. I'm better. I should be playing for you and winning Super Bowls, but this could be us, but you're playing kind of moment.
I don't fault Green Bay for that. because you had Aaron Rodgers, man, waiting in the wings.
I know, but loyalty
Although
should be a thing.
Aaron Rodgers is not as good as Brett. Well,
no, nowhere near.
Actually, I take that back. Aaron Rodgers is a much better quarterback than Brett Favre.
Ooh, I don't know. He gets hurt every 2 weeks. Like
Rodgers?
Yeah. He's got like 55 more injuries than Brett ever had.
Probably. I just think, I don't know. Maybe it's because
I like loyalty and durability, consistency.
That's fair.
Brett Favre.
That's fair. That's fair.
But his first game back, man, he threw 3 touchdowns against them. It was so emotional. Like that's up there for definitely on his top 10 of terms of like the game after his dad passed away. That's one of his moments.
Oh, the one against the Raiders, right?
Yeah. This game here versus the Packers, like that's the same kind of moment. Obviously, his dad is a bigger moment because that's impossible to recover from. But this one was great because as a fan too, I was like, "See, you guys should have kept him. We could be winning Super Bowls, but you idiots." And I wasn't a fan of the Packers anymore at this time. I was like, I'm just gonna like Brett Favre.
Yeah.
It's like I was on his side of the thing. I thought he was wronged. So, and my dad, my whole family, Austin, Mom, we all did this. We were Jets fans for a year. Then we were Vikings fans for 2.5-ish years. So that was the highlight though of his Viking career was that first game. He had some great games, but that was the one.
It's so hilarious what your number 7 was because my number 7 comes on a fateful Monday Night Football in Minnesota.
Oh no!
In 2010, Corey Wooten is sitting on the outside. Playing defensive end for the Chicago Bears. Brett Favre hikes the ball, and Corey Wooten ended his career in the frozen tundra. And it was like, and I'm not even believing, it was like negative 23 out.
Yeah.
I remember, look, I hate Brett Favre.
I know why you do.
You know why I do.
Because he's great.
Because he's a Green Bay Packer. And I'm not denying he's top 20 quarterbacks, in my opinion.
Definitely. I'm biased, but top 5 for me. Biased.
Well, I could find 5 better, but yeah, biased you are, yeah. But anyway, so ended his career, and as a Bears fan, we didn't have much. I literally missed out on life. I was not born yet when the Bears won their one and only Super Bowl in the beginning of 1986. I was born in April, so the Bears were hot around that time, but I didn't see it. I don't remember it. And the only other time they were in the Super Bowl again, and I'll have a moment from that later on.
Rex Grossman.
They lost. Yeah, and it was Rex Grossman, and they lost to the better team. But still, just seeing...
They had Devin Hester then, though, man. That guy was crazy.
Yeah, Hall of Fame. Should be future Hall of Famer, Devin Hester. But I'll talk about Devin in a little bit. But that game was just... It's so satisfying for a Bears fan. Because we didn't have much. We don't have much.
I remember this game. We were going to win it until.
And the other best part. Oh no, you weren't winning that game.
Was it 2010?
Yes,
this was Minnesota.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's 2010. It was a Monday night game. The Bears just needed to beat the Vikings and clinch the division.
Oh no, this was. Shoot, was it? Yeah, it's Vikings. Yeah, because 08 was Jets. Yeah,
yeah. The Bears had all the. I want to keep forgetting about the word I'm looking for. They had all momentum. There we go. Yeah. Thank you. The Bears
Cutler
had all
was
the
there
momentum.
Back then too. I forgot about
Jay. Cutler was the quarterback. Hester was playing. Johnny Knox, wide receiver. We had a crippling defense. Urlacher, Lance Briggs. Good stuff.
It's funny. Like you were on one not side of the country. I guess you were in Chicago.
Yeah, I wasn't that far from you.
I was in Indiana, just a couple 100 miles away, watching the same moment.
Yeah, you were
getting the opposite emotions.
Heartbroken, and I was up, fist pumping in the air.
Yep.
It's Eastern.
Yeah, it finally ended the streak that'll never be broken of almost 300 games played consecutively.
Pretty much, yeah. That ended it. What's your number 6?
Number 6, hard left turn here. We're going to middle school Evan, man. Little bright-eyed.
Did he cry as much?
He definitely cried as much. Cleanly shaven Evan. Couldn't grow a beard back then.
Yeah.
So way back in middle school, my 8th grade year, this was like when I finally was like, oh, I think I found this sport for me, like my sport. Like I'm decent at basketball. Like I was okay at baseball, but didn't really like it, so I quit. But this was the moment where I was like, I won the middle school cross country championship for our conference, which is small and minute
that's cool.
when you look at it. But like that was the moment.
Still cool for you.
Yeah, I came in first place for a championship cross country conference race, and that's when I knew I was like, okay, like this is gonna be what I do. I'm still gonna play basketball because I love it. It's my first love. I gave up on baseball because I'm like, it's fine. I'm decent. It's not that fun, but whatever. But this was like, this is it. This is my sport. And that's just one more moment, including cross country. But this is what kind of honestly, it kind of set me on the path to get where I'm at now unknowingly, because without this, I don't get Division I scholarship, and I don't go to IPFW. I don't make all the connections I
Yeah.
make. I don't move to Florida to coach basketball, and
There
then
you
I
go.
don't quit basketball to do what I do now. So
That's true.
this kind of started that whole thing.
Okay. I like the way you look at that and make those connections. My number 6 is a Monday Night Football game in 2006. This is the year the Bears eventually made the Super Bowl. They were undefeated. They were 5-0 at the time. And I had to... Was I watching this live? I can't remember if I watched this live or if I worked and I watched a recorded version of it. But I remember just coming back home and then watching Monday Night Football. It was the Bears versus the Arizona Cardinals. The Bears were reeling, and their offense looked good. And it was being backed...
Like the Kurt Warner Cardinals too, right?
No, this was...
You said 06. You said
06.
06. Sorry.
This is Matt Leinart.
Okay.
So, and the Cardinals were just one of the worst, or not worst, but they were one of the crappier teams in the NFL around the time. You know, Matt Leinart was still young, growing, getting better. But the Bears came out and just looked flat. This was in Arizona, and they were terrible. Rex Grossman was throwing the ball around. I'll remember infamously Mike Tirico yelling, "What is going on?" when the Bears, all the turnovers, the fumbles. This is when we started to see cracks in the Chicago Bears offense because they never ended up being like that good again that year. But and then on some sports miracle that will go down in the history of time, the Chicago Bears defense and special teams pulled them out of hell. I think it started with a sack, a fumble recovery, on Matt Leinart, and like Mike Brown recovered it and took it into the end zone. Another interception took it in. Possibly another, sack fumble. Somebody ran the ball into the end zone, and then finally, the Bears were down by 5-6 maybe. It could be something different. They were down by a little less than a touchdown. Punted to Devin Hester, and he took it to the house. Like this was his rookie year, and you started to learn after this game, like don't kick it to Devin Hester, and people still made that mistake like 20 times over. So, and this is the infamous game. If you ever heard the soundbite, like the Bears are who we thought they were, and you want to crown them, then crown their asses.
Oh, that's where that came from?
This is the game, yeah.
Well, what beer company
R.I.P.
was
Denny
that
Green.
for that commercial? There was a beer company that took audio bites from old interviews. It was like Budweiser or something.
Probably, yeah.
And that was one of them.
That's
they
funny.
did that. You play to win the game.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
they did that one.
You play
They are who we thought they were.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah.
This was the game.
That's the only reason I know
And
that.
I just remember
interview.
I watched that press conference live because I was watching Sports Center after the fact because I was like reeling high on the Bears' victory and I wanted to watch these highlights. Like I couldn't believe they won this game. They're 6-0. It's feeling good to be a Bears fan, and just watching that, it was like wild. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet.
all right,
Again, that's the theme with these
Yeah.
Chicago memories, except for the Bulls, is hope. Just hope that we're going to get better.
that's a good theme. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Chicago
number 5?
sports, also Rogue One, I guess, connected.
Yeah, close.
Rebellions are built on hope.
And sausage.
And, sausage.
Sausage.
And doubles.
Yeah.
I love that Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's pretty great.
Number 5?
Number 5. We're in our top 5.
Number 5 for me was that aforementioned game at what is now called Ford Field.
Oh, cool.
In Detroit. So the only time I was lucky enough to see Brett Favre play in person, which is crazy because my dad had watched him his whole life. So you'd think at one point we would have seen him play
Yeah.
somewhere in person, but we never did. So we finally got to see him play in Detroit as a Viking. It was his second game as a Viking. So that made it even cooler. The first game was in Cleveland. We almost went to that game. We're like, it's Cleveland. That's kind of far. That city kind of sucks too. So
It does suck.
Yeah, so we're like, we're not going to Cleveland. We went to Detroit instead. So it was a little closer. Detroit sucks too, but
Yeah, that's why I laughed.
but it's not Cleveland, I don't know. I think
it's like it
Detroit
just says
might
how
be
bad
worse.
Cleveland is
I
that
don't
you
know.
went to Detroit instead of
Instead,
going to
yeah.
Cleveland. That's what made that funny.
I think Detroit might be a worse city. I don't know.
Yeah, but still, you decided to go to
Right.
Detroit instead of Cleveland. That should
Yeah.
be well aware that everybody, if you're listening from Cleveland,
Yep.
Evan Boucher
Evan
and his
hates
family decided to go to Detroit, Michigan instead of going
Instead
to
of-
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yep.
Just think about that for a second.
This might be
Go on.
me trying to save it, but also we thought it might be a better game, score-wise, which I actually think
Well, it's a divisional game.
right. I think that's
Minnesota
what it was
against
too.
Detroit.
It's same division, so I guess it's more important.
What
but
year was this?
2009. So Brett Favre's Stafford was still there with
I was going to
Detroit.
say this was like Stafford's rookie year,
And
wasn't
they
it?
still had Megatron. What was his name?
Oh, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
God,
so it's
so
like,
good.
all right, they got those two guys. They could be decent. And I think the Cleveland game was actually a closer game. So, but whatever. We won both. That was the year we started like 8-0 or something. Well, that was a crazy.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Like we were just rolling, and that
Uh-huh.
was one of those games. And even though after that year, because Adrian Peterson fumbled like 4 times in the finals, the championship,
The NFC Championship
the
game.
NFC Championship. So even though he ruined that season, in this Detroit game, he had a decent game. And after every game, he throws his cleats into the stands for fans. And weird story. So we didn't catch his cleats, but after the game, we were all riding high. Like, that was awesome. We just won.
Was this against the Cardinals?
No, this is the Lions, against the Lions.
When he fumbled all those 4?
Oh, that was against the Saints.
Is that the year the Saints won the Super Bowl?
It is, but that's because they had the Bounty Gate. You remember that? And they did that against us
Sean Payton
quite
got
often.
Got off easy with that.
But yeah, they still awarded them the Super Bowl. It's like, we know you cheated, but you still get the Super Bowl. It's like,
Yeah.
no, take it away from them or something.
Yeah.
But
Oh, boy.
because the Vikings should have won that year. But
So
anyway,
you would have got trounced by the Colts.
no way.
Yeah,
That
you
Colts
would've.
team was garbage compared to us.
I think you would have. But anyway, we're talking semantics. So.
Right. We'll never know.
Yeah.
But multiverse. We'll find out one day
Yeah.
when Marvel is real, and we just
We'll
go
find
to-
out in the new attraction.
We'll go-
like,
yeah.
take me to 2008 if
Yeah.
the Colts played the Vikings.
Oh my gosh, that'd be hilarious. But yeah, so after every game, at least back then, I don't even know if Peterson still plays because can't stand the guy. But he would throw his cleats.
I don't
into
think
the
he does
stands.
because I just saw like a celebrity boxing clip of him
He's celebrity boxing.
getting Le'Veon Bell knocked him out.
Dang.
Former
Well,
Pittsburgh
At least
Steelers
he doesn't have
running
to
back.
worry about dropping any footballs. Like he doesn't have anything to fumble. So. Right. So anyway, he throws his cleats into the stands. We didn't catch the cleats, but after the game, we're all like talking to all the other Vikings fans. We're walking out of the stadium, leaving the stadium.
Yeah.
We make a bathroom stop in the bathroom. So this is mom can experience this. She's outside the bathroom. In the guy's bathroom, me
I
and
hope so.
dad and Austin are leaving, and like somewhere in the corner of the bathroom, there's this big old like commotion. People are cheering. We're like, what the heck's going on? One of the people there had caught Adrian Peterson's cleat.
Oh,
so he
wow.
was like showing it. We're like, whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It was like gold colored and all
Hell yeah.
like crazy. We're like, that's so cool.
That's cool. That's
Like,
cool.
we're gonna win the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, we're all riding high. Like, it was great. It was
And you
great.
didn't.
And we didn't because Mr. Cleat Thrower also fumbles footballs. But
Oh, he can't throw. He can throw a cleat, but he can't keep a football in his hands.
Nope.
It's true.
Aside from the ending of that season, that was just great because we finally got to see him play in person.
That's a good memory.
We all wore Favre jerseys and we got the tickets at home still. Like,
That's
hardcore. Going back to the Inside Out movie, hardcore memory right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we didn't talk. Inside Out 2 is coming. We forgot to talk
Oh
about that.
yeah, I forgot about that. But
Yeah,
that's
we
one of those core memories.
That's right. My number 5. I'm going to
Okay.
do something different with my top 5. I'm going to play the moment
Hey,
and let you guys hear the audio. So here is my number 5.
He can foul it back, but it's a good one to look for.
Got a fastball and lifts a fly ball into short left field. Pierzynski wanting to know, am I going? He is going. Here comes a throw by Merton. It is a collision at the plate. And Pierzynski not only bangs into Barrett, bangs onto the plate, and here they go. Posednik getting into
Get him, Zambrano. Put your pants back on. Let's go.
Now both dugouts empty.
I see you, Scott Harrison.
Behind home plate. I mean, there is some hooking going on.
There's
in the
Aramis
bottom
Ramirez. I
of
see
two
Derek Lee.
piles.
Is that Scott Walker?
Pierzynski ran
I still think
right
Michael
through
Barrett was in the
Barrett.
right there. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is 2007. No, I'm sorry. This is 2006. The Cubs still sucked. 2006. This is Cubs versus the White Sox. They played each other twice, 3-game series. Once in Wrigley Field and once in Comiskey Park. 6 games a year. And Winston is just telling you how much he hates the White Sox. Thank you, Winston.
apparently so.
And this was, it just becomes a rivalry game. The White Sox were beating us like 6-0, I think, this game. And as you heard, there was a pop-up to left field, caught, thrown. A.J. Pierzynski was tagging from third to home, and he barreled right into Michael Barrett. And Michael Barrett gets up and just pops him in the chin.
Well, I'm going to assume he was ruled out, right? So like,
No, Michael Barrett didn't catch it.
oh, he didn't catch it.
Yeah, he was safe. And the bench is clearing brawl. Now, while this could just look like a moment in a heated rivalry between two teams in the same city, and it is. But I was at this game, and this was crazy live.
I bet.
This was insane. I'm like, oh my God, did he just punch him? And then not only was there fighting on the field, you better believe the trashy ass baseball fans of Chicago were
That's
fighting
so funny.
each other.
Because you reminded me, there was a fight at the Lions game I went to.
You're talking about Lions
my number
fans
5.
here.
Yeah, they were fighting in the first quarter. Like, they were already drunk and fighting. And it's like, what is
Lions
happening?
fans?
But
They don't like the only good football they get is like the first 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then they're already down by 21. So
Yep.
Lions people. So yeah, that's I loved just being there. I was with a buddy of mine, Ardo. Just him and I, and we went back with our friends later. I remember it was just fun to just fuck around because when you have a group of friends in the Chicago, half of them are Cubs fans, the other half are Sox fans. So it's just jawing back and forth during baseball season. And the Sox, again, this was the year after they just won the World Series. So the Sox fans were just riding high, and they had every
rubbing
right
it in
to
your
be.
face too.
Every right to be.
Yeah.
Because when a moment we'll get to later was, I mean, I was an adult, more of an adult then, so I didn't get to rub it in his face as much. I tried. But
it's
yeah,
not the same when you're 30 and you're like, hey, my team just won. You're like, all right, cool. I got taxes to pay.
And
like,
I still don't even know who was right in this situation, but I think Michael Barrett was, because back then I hated AJ Pierzynski. I think he's a really good he's a good baseball player. He's a great color analyst, and he's really good on the radio. But I hated him as a White Sox player.
Yeah.
I hated him as a Cubs fan.
So that's the thing, though. You're always going to side with your boy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's the thing, as like being a Spurs fan with me. Thankfully, I've never had to put up with fights like that because we don't do that, except for the one instance with Robert Horry.
Yeah.
In the moment, I sided with him, but looking back, I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Right.
Like, you were wrong.
Right.
I love Robert Horry, but he was wrong.
Right.
But you always side with your boy.
Yeah.
Especially in the moment.
Mm-hmm. What's number 4?
Number 4, way big left turn here. There's this thing called Ultimate Frisbee.
Whoa. Nice.
And I'll tie it in. I guess I'm going to kind of cheat and put it like 2.5 moments here in one. So there's this thing called Ultimate Frisbee, and when I was in high school, it started getting a lot of traction in like the athletic community. Like, it's not a professional sport. It is actually now, little known fact, but it wasn't back then. Definitely not Olympics. It's still not an Olympic sport, but I kind of think it should be.
It could be.
But
I can
anyway,
see that being an Olympic sport.
there wasn't yet professional teams for the for Ultimate Frisbee, but it was starting to get big in like minor athletics communities. So my high school area, my little like high school town, we put together our own Ultimate Frisbee league of everyone that lived in the town, like all the high school kids.
That's
and,
cool.
Like, there was a team only of like grown-ass adults, so they were like called the old school. They were like all old, quote, old people, like, which is funny because now if I go back and play, I would be on that old school team.
Yeah.
But this was way back like 2009, 2010, somewhere in there.
Damn.
So I played in that first season that
That's
we
cool.
did, and I ended up playing 11 years before I quit to move here.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was
That's
I
awesome.
was one of the old vets when I left. There was these kids that were literally like 18 when I was playing against them, and I was like, wait, I started playing this when I was like 17 or 18. What the hell is happening? So
That's
we
cool.
didn't win the championship that first year, but one of my teams I was on won, I want to say the second or third championship.
Okay.
And then years and years passed. Some teams changed and left. A few teams kept their like core group of guys.
Yeah.
Like there was 10 people on a team, so a few teams kept like the same 7 to 8, ish people, and most of the other teams just kind of changed every year. We didn't have like set quote franchise names, but you could tell like, oh, there's the old school team again. There's that same group of 7 friends that always play together.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I was on a group of that like 6 or 7 friends that always played together. But eventually, we all kind of either quit playing or just switched teams around. So I left that team, and I went to one of those teams that always had the same 7 or 8 people. And I just became one of their random guys. But I played with them my last like 3 or 4 years. And
That's awesome.
Last year, it was my last year. We ended up winning the championship too. So
Oh, nice. So you went out on a
I
high.
ended up with 2 championships. In
There
that
you
little
go.
local league.
Okay.
And around that same time, this was all going down.
You have more championships than Aaron Rodgers does.
Oh, okay, come on now.
That's true, you do.
Well, you got the
And
same
Brett
amount.
Favre.
Yeah,
As Aaron Rodgers?
you got the
No.
same amount as Favre.
Oh, with my Gators kickball championship?
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
Rodgers. They both got one.
Suck
You
it,
got
Favre
one.
and Rodgers.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers are good at getting one and then leaving it sit.
Yep.
I know we're fine with one. And
It's
the
like
fans
you could have
hate
had
it.
like 3 or 4. You were
Oh,
good
they
enough.
absolutely could have with
Yeah.
Favre and Rodgers. They should have had 3 by now with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Easily.
With Favre too.
Yes.
But yeah. And around that same time, I won those championships with my buddies back then. Ultimate Frisbee became a professional sport.
That's
There's
cool.
now a league. It's called, what's it called? The AUDL, the American Ultimate Disc League. Because they can't use Frisbee because
Yeah.
Frisbee is the name of
It's
the company.
brand, yeah, right,
the brand.
yeah.
So they're the AUDL.
Okay.
And there's a team in Chicago and in Indianapolis. And somewhere around, I think the first or second season, the Indianapolis team won the championship.
Oh, wow.
And coincidentally, this is so weird, and I'm going to stop rambling after this, but with this, we found my last cat in 2010, and her name was Allie, because like Alley Cat.
Oh, yeah.
And the team in Indianapolis that was founded in 2011 or 2012, after we named Alley Cat, was called the Indianapolis Alley Cats. So I was like, this is creepy.
That's kind of cool.
They became one of my favorite teams because they were local, they were Frisbee, they were named after my cat, and they ended up winning the championship.
Hell yeah.
So a lot of random stuff in that number 4, but
That's
a
awesome.
lot of personal stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. Okay.
The only Ultimate Frisbee one on this list for sure.
Not on my list.
Actually, the Chicago team has probably one of the top 5 players of all time that played for them.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
They were called the Chicago Wildfire, but then, like, what's it called? When you have to be politically correct. Wildfire wasn't cool because the Chicago Fire of whatever year. They're like, we can't call it that anymore.
You're got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not. I swear. And now
The Great
they're called,
Chicago
like,
Fire. It's just like a moment of history.
Yeah, now they're called like the Chicago Shield or
Hold
something.
up.
Something stupid.
That's stupid because the professional soccer team in Chicago is called the Chicago Fire.
Exactly. Maybe that's why, too. They're like Wildfire, Chicago
that's
Fire.
That's probably it.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
took it as stupid political
No, because like the
correctness,
Chicago Fire has always been taught to me as something like
it's a huge historical
a
moment.
pivotal
like,
point of history where Chicago
Yeah.
kind of rebranded itself
Yeah.
and turned into the city that we know it today.
Okay.
So, but anyway. But Ultimate Frisbee isn't on my list, but you know what it is? My number 4.
Held in along the boards. Andrew Ladd, checked by Coburn. Campbell holds the puck into the line. Turns, won't shoot. Kane, watched by Kimo Timonen. To the net! Leighton stopped it. Where's the puck? It came loose on the other side. It's over. Patrick Kane has scored the goal. The Chicago Blackhawks' long drought is over. For the first time since 1961, the Chicago Blackhawks have won the Stanley Cup.
God, I miss you, Joel Quenneville. God. So I did not grow up a hockey fan, admittedly. I grew up a basketball fan, baseball, football. Those were sports that I connected with. Football is my favorite sport. Hockey's probably my second now.
Well, it's probably because at that point you played all 3 of those, right?
I did,
Hockey,
yeah.
Or you didn't play hockey.
No.
But football, basketball, baseball.
Yes,
So, yeah.
and yeah, football as I got older, and I was the best at football. But like, and also the Wirtz family back in the day, like, kept the Blackhawks off of TV to try to drive attendance, and it pissed off all of Chicago fans who just wanted to casually watch the Blackhawks and get into a hockey team, and they're just like, you got to come see us. They're like, no, we don't want to go downtown and spend the money. We want to see the product first. And there was a big back and forth about all that, and then finally the Blackhawks got back on TV. They were still kind of laughing stuff for the NHL, and then their draft picks started to pay off. Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane, they had Duncan Keith. They had some great players, and Antti Niemi, even back in the day, this is the only cup that he won with us in 2010, but this started the dynasty that we know as the 2010, 2013, 2015 Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks. The fact that I was able to see the Chicago Blackhawks, I mean, the Stanley Cup playoffs are my favorite playoffs of all time. It's like there's nothing better than playoff hockey. It's like sudden death. Like the game could end at any moment. It's like so terrifying as a fan, but when your team wins, and the Blackhawks have done that a lot in overtime, especially with hockey, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, it's different than all the other sports, even baseball, because baseball scoring is easier than hockey even. Baseball
Yes.
is the hardest of the big 3 sports. Like, there's scoring every play in basketball. There's scoring more often in football.
Oh, sure.
But then you
Yeah.
get to baseball, and it's like there's not as much, but hockey's even less. So it's
Mhm.
like every single goal matters.
It does. It absolutely does. And the Blackhawks started, and it was such a great time to be a fan of them in Chicago, just because everybody got into it. This wasn't like this wasn't the White Sox or the Cubs where you had a split fan base. This was the city together. It's like when the Bears do well. This is what the city becomes. And like the whole city became alive. And yeah, there were some posers, but I was at a bar in Midlothian. It's a popular one, and I can't remember the name of it. I could picture it in my head, but and just watching on TVs late Sunday night maybe or something like that. We're playing the Philadelphia Flyers, just like you just heard, and Patrick Kane. It went to overtime. This is Game 6, so I'm already prepping myself for a Game 7. And like we get to this point, and Patrick Kane just slaps it in, and he celebrates, and I'm like, that didn't go in. But you watch the replay, and it absolutely did.
Yeah.
And then you're just stuck in awe, and then like a kind of like a stick of dynamite in an old school cartoon burning the wick until it gets to the blow up. Like people piece by piece were starting to realize, like, oh my God, they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Oh my God, won the Stanley Cup. And then before I know it, I turn around and some D-bag is spraying beer on me standing on top of a fucking table.
Of course.
Being typical Chicago. So I had to drive home. I was like 40 minutes away from this place where I lived. Drive home reeking of beer. And I don't typically like to drive the speed limit, especially that late at night, but I did because I didn't want to get pulled over and
oh my gosh, could you imagine?
tell a cop, like, I promise you this isn't me. Like the night that a big Chicago sports franchise and I'm a 20-something-year-old
Yep, and you smell like beer.
of alcohol. Like,
the only thing that could have
happen.
saved you is if you did the breathalyzer, and you could be like,
right.
look, I'm not.
Yeah, ultimately I was fine. I don't think I had a drop that night, but
You
still.
didn't want to waste that time, though,
No.
like that extra
I just wanna
hour
get
being
home,
pulled over. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was my number 4.
That's the thing with, I keep saying that's the thing. I guess that's my new catchphrase.
That's the thing to say.
That's the thing to say. But in Indiana, we don't have baseball or hockey, so everybody is a Cubs fan and a
Yes.
Blackhawks fan.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of these moments through those fans in my state. So
It's a good point.
yeah, and I went to college. One of my roommates, my very first year in college, was a Blackhawks fan,
Hell yeah.
and we played the NHL game. Did you ever play that?
Yep.
Yeah, we played that like every night, man. And he kicked our asses. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like he was a legit hockey fan,
Okay.
not one of these like
Yeah,
fanboys.
yeah.
He played hockey. Like we went to go ice skating, and he would just be like
That's
skating
cool.
circles
Yeah.
around us, and we
I
would be
can't do
like,
that.
I tried and I could not move. So I don't know how he does it.
I'm not good with roller anything.
Yeah, I
Or
don't know how he did
skates.
it.
Yeah.
But so I know these Blackhawk moments a little bit just because of
Okay,
him.
that's fair. What's your number 3? Top 3.
Number 3 is, I don't know if they still stand to this day. I need to go back to my high school and check. But the last time I checked was probably 5-ish years ago that I set the freshman and sophomore records for cross country. The fastest times. At least to that point, and at least 4 or 5 years ago, they still stood. So I need to go back and check. Or have my dad check because he works there. So I was like, Dad, go look for me.
Yeah.
But the freshman and sophomore record for a 5K at that time, anyway, was me at Belmont High School. It
Hell
was
yeah.
16:29 and 16:21. So 16:29 for a freshman and 16:21 for a sophomore. So
Damn, so you were 2 seconds slower your sophomore year?
8 seconds.
8 seconds?
I was 8 seconds faster my sophomore year. That's the only bit I
okay.
improved.
Oh, wow.
That's it.
Okay,
But-
nice.
Yeah, but I hate to admit it, but they were both set on the same course, and I think that course is a little bit short. I think that's kind of the thing, because everyone's times are always faster on that course, and
Yeah.
everyone always talks about how much we love that course and
Yeah.
that race. So I think it's a little bit short. I don't
Okay.
think it's a full 5K, but it still counts because it was part of it wasn't just some random race. It was part of our
That's-
high school tournament,
yeah.
so it was sanctioned and official. So
I think the best 5K time I've ever done was personally my own, maybe 28 minutes. Christ. I
you
can't.
can do better than that. You got that. You can do better.
I probably can.
The
but-
next Run Disney, you're going to do 24.
Okay, thank you.
I know it. I have faith in you.
I know I could.
I think right now I could probably do like a 21, which is 7-minute mile pace. I could probably do a 21. But 16 minutes, man, that's insane. I hear those times now, and I'm like, how? How did I do
Yeah,
that?
that's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how the
I
fuck
weighed
you did
10
that.
pounds less back then. That's how I did it.
Yeah, but 10 pounds ain't a lot.
It's a lot when it comes to running, though.
Yeah, I guess that's
Imagine, go pick up a 10-pound weight and try to run a 5K with it.
That's fair.
Like, think about that.
That's a good
That's
point.
what my dad always told me. That's how he got me to vision it. He's like, it was healthy. Trust me. He's not one of those weird sports dads that was like forcing me to lose weight. But that's how he did it with me. He's like, we got to make sure you eat this right, this better, and work out. Do this race here and this practice here. Because he's like, imagine if you have a 5-pound weight, try to go run now. That's he'd be like, you could lose healthily, safely 5 pounds. That's how we did it.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we envision
Okay,
things.
that's fair.
So
That's a good point. All right. My number 3, I will play it for you. Quite possibly the greatest opening to a Super Bowl ever.
Well, my thought is, Jim, in a big game like this where nerves can be a factor, it's always better to start on defense. So the Colts, maybe it was a blessing losing the coin toss.
Nope.
This game is brought to you in high-definition television. So the Colts will be kicking away, and there he is, Adam Vinatieri.
Setting up the
Moving
suspense
over
because
this
this is
year
a really
as a
good
free
call.
agent from the Patriots, leaving them as their all-time score.
This is
winning
one of the
2
few Super Bowl
for them in the
memories I
end,
have. Like, and I don't care about these teams,
and
but I
having
remember
another
this.
spectacular postseason. But Devin Hester, the rookie who was so dangerous, who went to
forgot he was a
college
rookie,
here
though.
in Miami. He led the NFC in both kickoff returns and punt returns. And the Colts have had a hard time all season covering kicks. It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
Dungy, why'd you kick it to Devin Hester? This was like his 8th touchdown of the year. This was his rookie year, but he had quite a bit. Maybe not 8th, maybe 4 or something. I don't know, but we knew he was a threat. It's like, why did you kick to Devin Hester? I appreciate it because,
right?
This is Chicago Bears, my favorite sports team of all time. I'm sitting there. They just opened up Super Bowl, whatever that was. This is 2006, the 2005-2006 season. What's XLI?
I don't remember these numbers at all.
51?
I remember the year, but
51.
Something like that.
I think it's 51. Oh, God, now I got to find out. I'm going to feel like a fucking idiot. So, anyway, I'll get to talking about that, and I'll figure it out. So, this is my favorite franchise of all time, and they just opened up the championship game, scoring 6 points, and what that take maybe 10 seconds or so? If that.
The first championship game in how long?
Their first Super Bowl since 1986.
Yeah, 2 decades, 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Especially when you know it's that's their best bet of getting some points.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
It's not going to be Rex Grossman.
This
not going to
wasn't
be your offense.
This wasn't 51. That's my bad. I knew that was wrong. This is Super Bowl 41.
Okay, you had the right idea. 41.
Yeah,
51.
but still, I got to do better at that. Especially as a Bears
How
fan,
could you
I should
do
have known
better?
it was 41. But
Yeah, what are you doing?
we didn't win this Super Bowl. This was one of the few highlights the Bears had. We went up on the Colts 13 or 14-0, something like that. We had 2 quick scores, and then Peyton Manninged. And he actually didn't have all that great of a game that game. The Bears just shot themselves in the foot too, but still the better team won amongst the two. And this is one of the 2 championships that Peyton Manning was able to get in his career. The other coming with the Denver Broncos. He deserved it, and Tony Dungy deserved it. Tony Dungy's a good coach. Just hate that the Bears haven't been back since.
Yeah, man.
But Devin Hester, you are ridiculous.
Is Rex Grossman the worst quarterback to ever play in a Super Bowl?
The worst quarterback to ever play in a Super Bowl? That's a great question.
He's the most random anyway. I can't think of anything he's ever done except play in one Super Bowl. He just played in it too.
He was good. I think he was a Florida Gator. I think he had a good season there. He had to get drafted. Let me think about that quarterback question. That's a good question.
So
Rex is definitely in the conversation.
As a Bears fan, do you like him? Because as a non-Bears fan, we
different.
always made fun of him.
Yeah, you can make fun of him. I think he got a little. I don't know. He did. I defended him a good amount, but I'm loyal to my team.
Right.
Do I like him? I don't know. I really am indifferent. He wasn't the fit for the Bears.
True.
He just wasn't a good fit for the Bears. He was too short, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. What's your number 2?
Number 2, which is weird because this is kind of backwards in terms of the story and the history of it. But number 1 is a bigger moment. But number 2 is the second time that my school, IPFW, our men's basketball team, which I was a student manager of, beat Indiana University. We're both Division I, but obviously everyone's heard of IU. Who's heard of IPFW? You've never heard of IPFW. Nope. But this is the second time we beat them in as many years, too, nonetheless. Twice in 2 years. This one was at their house in Assembly Hall.
That's cool.
December 2017. And we went into their house and beat them by 20 points, nonetheless, also. 92-72.
Good. Screw them.
So, yeah, they were not very good. And Tom Crean was coaching them then. I don't know if he's still there now. But, yeah, Tom Crean was there, and we went into their house. And it was cool. It was December, so it was still Christmas break. So there wasn't a full house because they were playing us. Who's going to come to that game?
Yeah.
When you could be at home for Christmas.
Right.
But it was at least, it was over halfway full. And it was cool just to see everyone leave slowly but surely it was 10 points, 15 points. You're running out of time. It's 20 points. And And there was actually almost as many fans from my school in the building at the end of the game as there was IU fans. And, like, we don't have fans outside of the people that go to the school.
Right, yeah.
And, like, the moms and dads of the kids that are playing in the game. So,
Yeah.
like, our fans, I mean, of course we traveled because we only lived, like, 3-ish hours away. So most of our fans just drove and watched the game. But to see Assembly Hall mostly blue at the end of a game was really weird. Because I lived in Indiana and grew up an IU fan. Mm-hmm. So to then go to a school that ended up playing them 3 times while I was there and beating them 2 of those 3 times, one of the times in IU.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wasn't a fan anymore because I'm now a fan of the team that I actually work for and
right.
I'm going to the school. So it was just cool to be like, we're going into this place where it's a historically great place, too, outside of if you're an IU fan or not.
Yeah.
Like, Assembly Hall is probably a top 20 sports place in America, maybe top 30. I don't know. But it's up there. So that was just really cool. Just going in there, beating them by 20 and seeing a blue Assembly Hall.
That's awesome. Good. That's a good story. I love that you can make those connections to, like, your, collegiate team and especially the ones that you work for too. So, my number, we're on 2, right?
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure you, being the basketball fan, are going to remember this, and I will never forget this for the rest of my life, especially the sequence that I'm going to start this clip on. This is my favorite Michael Jordan moment of all time.
43. Malone is doubled. They swat at it and steal it. Here comes Chicago. 17 seconds. 17 seconds from Game 7 or from championship number 6. Jordan open. Chicago with the lead.
He gets Brian Russell with a quick crossover. Look at Brian Russell slips, and Michael pulls
Hear
up
that,
and
everybody?
buries the
He
shot to give him a
slipped.
1-point lead.
If you come at me saying that Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, needed to push off, first off, you haven't watched The Last Dance, where they critique this move over and over and over again. But Jordan was taking him that way, and his momentum carried him that way. And Michael said that. He's like, I know how to beat him. Like, his momentum started to carry, and all I do is cross over. And Michael Jordan hit the most perfect shot ever seen in my life. And I remember this game vividly. Is 1998, June, probably. I think my dad and stepmom took me to a party first. They had it like a friend's house, and we came back to watch this, or to watch the game because I was such a big Bulls fan. And you're nervous as a kid, you're nervous as a fan, but when you have Michael Jordan on your team, I felt like this was always going to be ours.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Jordan was not going to let us down, and he didn't let any of the fans of Chicago down. The greatest sports figure ever in the city of Chicago.
Yeah.
Ever.
Maybe of all time anywhere.
All time. Never going to be a better one. I can't thank the Chicago Bulls for drafting him. I can't thank enough for the Rockets for passing on. I believe it was the Rockets. They took Hakeem Olajuwon, so I don't blame them. It was a big man's game then.
You can't lose that, like Hakeem or Jordan. That's a win.
No, back then too. Yeah. Hakeem the basketball was like historically a big man's game. So
yeah.
So anyway, there's so many great Michael Jordan moments, but him, the crossover on Russell, winning the Bulls' 6th championship, and his final shot at Chicago Bull, just fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen that as him pushing. Like, I've heard those dumb fans that say he pushed off. I'm like, I don't see
some
it.
Dumbasses that,
Yeah, like you just say that because you don't like Michael.
1,000%. Or they were like a Jazz fan or something.
Right, a Jazz fan or a Pacers fan, somebody in the East that he always, kicked their ass every year. Somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all right, you're number 1, man.
Number 1. It ties into number 2 because this is the first time we beat IU the year before. So this is 2016, almost exactly a year. That first game or second game that we won, my number 2, was December 17th of 20... Oh, no, I lied. It was December 2017. This first game was November of 2016.
Okay.
Different setup, weird setup. So we're a very tiny school, very tiny college. Our home gym is literally, it's on our campus. It's our gym, but it's the exact same size of like a local high school gym. Like, it's not big at all. It's nothing flashy. You go in there, and you would think it's just a high school gym.
Yeah.
So we're not playing IU there. They're too good to play there. So we actually hosted a few games too, bigger games, conference games sometimes at our local just like convention center / sporting arena.
Yeah.
Called the Coliseum. So we're hosting IU at the Coliseum. This is in Fort Wayne, Indiana versus IU from Bloomington, Indiana. So how in my number 2, the IPFW fans traveled to IU. Well, IU doesn't have to travel because their fans are all across the country, but every fan that could drive to that game to watch IU play came to IU. Or not to IU, came to watch IU play. They came to the Coliseum in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, that's cool.
So this was supposed to be, it's a neutral site, quote unquote, but we play all of our games there. It's our Coliseum.
It's your house, yeah.
So to go into our Coliseum, to see it full, one was crazy because usually we see it like 30, 40% full, and that's cool. But like seeing it full was insane. It was loud as can be. I'd never been in that building that loud.
Yeah.
And to see it all red was just weird. Cause it's like, why are they wearing red? This is our gym.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
But like, and also I didn't even mention, IU was ranked number 3 in the nation at this time.
Damn.
Wrongfully so. At the time, we all knew like they're not that good, guys. They should not be number 3.
Yeah.
But still, the fact that they were ranked at all and ranked number 3, crazy. We're IPFW. Never been ranked.
Yeah.
Probably never will be ranked. But at this time, we had John Conchar. I don't know if you've heard the name, but if you're a NBA fan out there, he is like the 8th man maybe right now for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay.
So he's the first and only player to ever make it from my school to the NBA.
Is he on their active rosters or is he in like their D League?
No, he's on their active roster.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he played in the playoffs this year. Like he's their
Very cool.
rotation dude. He's on the team playing minutes.
That's spectacular.
So he led us to this victory, man.
That's
And
cool.
We had Bryson Scott, who used to play at Purdue. He's from Fort Wayne, Indiana. He went to Purdue. He transferred back to IPFW.
Yeah.
So being from Purdue, he was used to whooping on IU.
Yeah.
So he came to us and helped us whoop on IU.
That's
and
cool.
It was a crazy game. We led the whole game. And one of my best friends, Kaysen, was on that team, and he contributed a lot. The only way it could have been better is if he hit this game winner that he missed. But we led the whole game until like 2 minutes left or so. Right in the last couple of minutes, they tied it and sent us to overtime. Kaysen had some good looks at a few 3-pointers that would have won the game. Like this guy was a good 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
He was like 40% for his career.
Yeah.
He's like my best friend, so like I wish he would have made it, but it's okay because we ended up winning.
Yeah.
Just John Conchar led us that game, and Kaysen led us that game. Bryson Scott from Purdue led us, and even when it was weird because even when after leading the whole game they tied us, you think most teams, and especially in this scenario where you're in a full house that's full of IU fans against number 1 or number 3 IU, you just fold and give up. Be like, hey, that's good enough.
Right.
We competed. We almost won. Good enough.
Right.
But for some reason in that huddle, I don't think any of us had any doubt that we were at least going to overtime and having a great chance to win. But I think we all had no doubt that we were going to end up winning. I don't know what was going on, what the magic was, but that huddle was crazy because it was just all of us in there, and like none of the people in that huddle, from the 5 guys on the floor to me, just a student manager, had a look of like nervousness.
Yeah.
It's like, we're here, we got this far.
Yeah.
Why not finish it out?
Exactly.
So it goes to overtime. We win in overtime. The last play, IU has a chance. They have possession with like 8 seconds left, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they had a shot. They are inbounding the ball. Conchar steals the inbound pass, runs down the other end of the court, and he just like chucks the ball up in the air because it's like 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah.
So he'll just let it go in the air, so they can't do anything.
Yeah.
And that's how we won. I mean, there were some crazy plays in there.
That's awesome.
Conchar has some crazy alley-oop dunks.
That's
He had
cool.
A couple poster dunks.
Yeah.
Like he took over that game. He didn't like score a lot. I think he might have had like 20, 21, but like they were big 20, 21.
Okay.
But
good shit,
this
man.
can't beat that because that entire building was IU fans. Like I said earlier, I was raised an IU fan.
Yeah.
But just to have that moment of like, this is my school and my school's building, and we're beating that team that I used to like. And they're number 3, and just never thought it was possible. So then the second year when we played them, it was at their house, and that was my number 2. We beat them. And after that, ever since then, IU just doesn't play my school. I'm not kidding either. Like they've never scheduled IPFW again, and that was our first Big Ten win ever. So like playing, that's the biggest win in our school's history.
Yeah.
Beating a number 3 Big Ten school.
Trying to break the curse.
Yeah. Sadly, we've never made the big dance, but that's our school's moment. Beating IU.
That's a good moment. You broke the curse, and my number 1. Speaking of breaking curses.
Done it before. Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play.
The Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Sorry, caught in the moment again. It's the only time a sporting event made me tear up and cried. I have a selfie of a blubbery face me in 2016 after that happened on Facebook somewhere. I mean, like, I told you all about the Cubs earlier and about how much of a laughingstock we were of the Major League Baseball, and after 108 years, it ended on a ground ball to Chris Bryant and a rocket over to Anthony Rizzo. And Anthony Rizzo, right after he caught the ball, he grabs it and puts it in his back pocket.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, and he runs and everybody's celebrating. That moment just it's so funny how sports can do this to you. It's just so funny how it can garner that sort of emotion and interest and just fandom, and just it's my second favorite type of escapism.
Yeah.
Outside of going to like theme parks and stuff.
Yeah.
Is
I
sports.
feel you. It used to be mine too, but it's
No, I get it.
I get it. I get why though for you, but
yeah. And just that Chicago Cubs team, I watched every pitch, every hit from spring training. Seeing them in spring training first. I lived in Arizona, so I went to as many as I could. They played Mesa, so I was like a 10-minute drive from there.
Yeah.
2016 was such an amazing year. I think work was going well for me, making decent. Courtney and I got engaged inside Cinderella's Castle on May 18th of that year. The Cubs won the World Series. I was living in North Scottsdale. It's just a good year, and it just was like the cherry on top.
Yeah, no
that's
question.
That's my number one moment.
Yeah, it's the number 1 year.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm probably.
That's what we can do. Another one.
Had better years. Yeah.
Top 10 years.
Top 10 years. Yeah. There you go.
2020, number 1. No.
Oh, get the hell out of here. That would be on the top 2020s, and it'd be the first one. Our 2022 favorite years, and that'd be last probably.
Oh, yeah.
But that was our top 10 favorite sport moments. We have been Jedi Talk. This has been an alternative top 10. Again, follow us at Jedi Talk Podcast, and let us know. Tell us what your top 10 sports moments were. Find us on Facebook, Jedi Talk, a Star Wars podcast. And, of course, you found us via a podcast method. Tell your friends. Say hello online to us somewhere. If you see us in the parks, tap us on the shoulder, and we'll go hunt some bounties together.
Heck yeah.
So,
you got your 20 yet?
No. I haven't
on
been
16.
back there. Okay,
so I'm hoping to get 20 within the next week.
All right. You'll be in the guild soon. I'll be in the guild eventually. Next time you hear from us will be soon. But thank you, everybody, for joining. And may the Force be with you.
Always in good journey, and Cassian Andor's coming out, so that's what we're going to be talking about a lot in the coming weeks. Stay tuned for that.
Rise, Jedi Knight.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Here's your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam.